Okay, guys, let's solve this next question. Slightly tricky, very interesting question. So you can just give it a try and then you can resume the video to look at the solution. All right, guys. So one way to solve the question is you can purely, solve the question by making equations. And yes, you can simply represent all the conditions by making equations and solve them. And the second way is to use logic. So we'll first look at the equation based approach. And after which I'll tell you the logic behind this question, which will, help you to solve the question very, very quickly. So Amal purchases some pens at rupees 8 each. Let us assume that Amal is purchasing exactly n number of pens. That makes the total cost of the pens as 8 multiplied by n. Okay. To sell these, he hires an employee at a fixed wage. Let us suppose the fixed wage of the employee is suppose R rupees. Okay. Next, he sells 100 of these pens at rupees 12 each. Okay. So 100 of these pens he's selling at 12 each. That means the total selling price of these 100 pens is 12 multiplied by 100, right? If the remaining pens are sold at 11 each, then he makes a net profit of 300 rupees. Okay, so if the remaining pens, 100 pens he has already sold, if he is selling the remaining pens, that is n minus 100 pens at rupees 11, that means he's making a net profit of 300 rupees. Means the total selling price, 12 into 100 plus 11 into n minus 100, this will be the cost plus 300 rupees, right? That's the profit. Whereas he makes a net loss of 300 rupees if the remaining pens are sold at 9 each. So taking the net cost as 8n plus r, the same. He's selling 100 pens at 12 rupees. Okay, if he sells the remaining n minus 100 pens for rupees 9, okay, then there is a loss of 300 rupees. That means the selling price will be less than the cost by 300 rupees. Okay, so the wage of the employee in INR is, okay, very simple now, guys. We have two equations and two variables. We need to eliminate the two, and eliminating the two, we can solve the question very, very easily. So what we can do is first take this 300 on the right hand side here. So it will become minus 300, and take the minus 300 on the right hand side here. It will become plus 300. Now on the left hand sides for both the equations is 8n plus r. You can simply equate the two. When you equate the two, you will observe that 12 into 100 plus 11 into n minus 100 minus 300 is equal to 12 into 100 plus 9 into n minus 100 plus 300. 12 into 100 is same for both of them. You can again cancel these two. Okay, now simplifying this further, you simply have 11n minus 1100 minus 300 is 9n minus 900 plus 300. Okay, which on solving simply gives you 2n is equal to minus 1100 minus 300 is minus 1400, which you take on the right hand side, you have 1400. Okay, minus 900 plus 300 is minus 600. So 2n is 1400 minus 600, that's 800, or n is simply equal to 400. That means initially you had bought 400 pens. Now this n is equal to 400, you can substitute in any of these two equations. Either the first one, this entire thing, 8 into n plus r plus 300 is 12 into 100 plus 11 into n minus 100, this much, right? Or the second one. So let's substitute. So 8 into 400 plus the wages of the employee R plus the profit 300 is 1200 plus 11 into n minus 100 is 11 into 300. So that makes it 1200 plus 3300, 4500. And 8 into 4 is 3200 plus 300 is 3500. 3500 plus R is 4500. That gives R as 1000. Right? So that's again that's just one way of solving the question. You can make equations, basically solving the two equations simultaneously and finding out the required value. Okay, that's one way out. The other way is, guys, we can simply use logic here. Okay, if he sells the remaining pens at 11 rupees per pen, then he makes a profit of 300 rupees, right? But if he sells the pens at 9 rupees per pen, there is a loss of 300 rupees. Now, the difference in the price of each pen is 2 rupees when it is sold. Okay, and that gives a complete difference of 600 rupees, right? Where you're supposed to earn 300 rupees, now you're losing 300. So the price gap is 600 rupees. So if the price gap is 600 rupees and the difference in selling price is 2 rupees. That means the remaining number of pens is 600 upon 2, that is 300. That means, okay, 300 was the remaining number of pens apart from these 100. That tells you totally we have 300 plus 100, 400 pens sold. Now it's very simple. You can calculate the initial cost. 8 rupees per pen into 400 is 3200. Okay. The 100 pens are sold at 12 rupees each. Okay. So talking about the selling price will be 12 multiplied by 100. That's 1200. And for the remaining 300 pens, the rate is suppose 11 rupees. I'm considering the first case, 3,300. Okay. Total selling price is 4,500. Now, cost is 3,200 and selling price is 4,500, but the net profit is only 300. That means the fixed wage of this particular employee will be 4,500 minus 3,200. That's 1,300 minus the profit of 300 rupees, 1,000. So this way you can like solve the question relatively easily. Okay, if you compare this logic, okay, the decrease in the price of pens, 2 rupees, corresponds to the overall change of 600 rupees. That gives you 300 additional pens. Initial pens are 100 plus 300, 400. Now you can back calculate.